Harry, I'm coming in. Harry.
That's how you work this.
You can't put it down. Had to run next door and rob the neighbors and got
You left the water running over there too, didn't you? I told you not to do that, Marv. Why are you doing that?
It's their signature. Gotta do it.
You're sick, Marv. You know that? Really sick. Welcome back to Paper Movies, a novelization book club, and welcome to our Christmas special. Today, it is your discussion is going to be brought to you by the Wet Bandits here.
I'm Marv.
And I'm Harry. Today, we're going to be discussing the novelization to Home Alone, the junior novelization, because there's actually not an adult novelization version of this. It's a scholastic novelization based on the screenplay by John Hughes, and the novelization was by Todd Strasser. Or Strasser, yes.
Yep. Every time I
So
see that kid, I just turn him into hamburger.
Like boil him in oil, you know. So yeah. We hope you guys are having a great holiday season. Hope you guys have a Merry Christmas soon. We thought that since, it's our second Christmas as a podcast, we're going to do a Christmas novelization. We didn't do one for our discussion this month, and I don't think we did one last year either. So we thought we'd actually do a Christmas novelization for Christmas. So Home Alone, one of the...
Even though it's a young reader or youth novelization, whatever the appropriate term is for a young reader novelization, that's what it is.
Well, so I'll go ahead and get into a summary. As many of you may have seen Home Alone, then you know that it's about Kevin McAllister. He is kind of a troublemaker, and but then again, he's also kind of misunderstood. People just kind of get easily annoyed with him, and he kind of becomes a little bit of a nuisance and annoyance to the other family. So he, one day after a big family fight, he decides he wishes that his parents would disappear, and they accidentally left him home alone as they go to Paris, and he thinks his wish actually came true, when in reality they actually just went to Paris. And then it wasn't until the airplane when they realized that they left him. And meanwhile, two bandits, yours truly here, Harry and Marv, they are going throughout the whole neighborhood. They target Kevin's house in particular because Harry posed as a police officer earlier that day, and he saw all the valuables inside the house, so they make this house a priority. Realizing he has to defend this house, Kevin puts up traps to defend his house from the burglars.
Yeah. And man, he did a pretty good job, didn't he?
Yeah. There's one of those Christmas theories out. There's one of those theories out there that Kevin McAllister is really the guy that would eventually become Jigsaw from the... like, I'd like to play a little game,
That's funny. Man, so what did you think of this novelization? I mean, for a kid's book, it's not going to go into all the details, right, as an adult novel would, or elaborate a lot more on story, just because it is 131 pages, 136 pages. What were your thoughts when you read this book? Did you enjoy it?
I enjoyed it, but I'm going to be honest, for a young reader's book, it got pretty dark.
It did. It sure did.
I mean, I was like, of course we're going to get into all the differences, but before I get to those, I'll address some certain changes they made to the film. Like that scene where Marv goes to investigate the house, and he hears that mobster movie. That was actually Harry that did that in the book.
Yeah,
it was a little bit.
Yep, it was altered. That was like the big difference that I noticed that really stuck out like a sore thumb. Is like, oh, wait a second,
It's like that
that's
actually
you.
happened this way.
It's not me. Yeah, yeah, and they it was that was different. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm jumping the gun. Continue.
Then they also the darker parts was, and they had these are actually, I think if I remember correctly, they were deleted scenes from the Home Alone movie. One of which was that scene with Peter McAllister and his daughter in Paris, and she says like, "Oh, the family needs to be together at Christmas."
Mm-hmm.
I believe that was a deleted scene. And there was
Okay.
also the one of the biggest deleted scenes is a little bit of insight or backstory into Harry. He shows his contempt. He talks about his contempt for Christmas and how it's become like too commercialized and people only care about traveling to, Florida or Paris or anything like that. He's just said like man, it should just it's kind of weird for the villain of the story to have a more pure uh vision of Christmas than some people, because all he says like it's not about the holidays, and it's not about your families anymore. It's about like, what am I getting them this and everything. And that's why he says he hates Christmas. And I think if I remember correctly, he implied that that's why he robs houses and everything.
Oh yeah, then that's what they're saying. That's what's wrong with the world, and then like, now let's go rob that house.
Yeah, I like that. It's just like, yeah, this world sucks. Well, let's go rob it.
Yeah,
If you can't
yeah,
beat them, join them. But what
yeah.
are your thoughts?
I enjoyed it. I thought it was surprisingly a lot better than I thought it was going to be. We've been reading novelizations for a while, and this is our first young reader novelization that we've done. And I was kind of nervous, like, oh man, this is just going to be like skim the surface, not go into any details. Nothing is going to be changed. Things were changed, and it did dive deeper into things, like with certain characters. And I thought that was really cool. And it has me excited to look into more young reader novelizations, actually, because it was part of my plan. Is like, I'm not gonna do any more of these, but this has me excited because it elaborated on character development. It seemed like the movie you get more information with Kevin setting up the house, setting up his booby traps. You know, clearly it's a longer it's filled out, I guess we should say, in the film. This one, it's like, oh, they're coming to my house, and then everything happens. You don't know how he set up all the traps. You just kind
He
of use
just
your
did, yeah.
imagination. Yeah. So that was kind of the bummer with the novelization. But I felt like we got a lot more with his family doing their things than we did in the film. But then everything that happened in the novelization was in the film, except for that one extended scene, like you mentioned, with all the kids gathered around to the dad. Like, it's just not the same. We need to be together on Christmas.
There was
And it
one
just,
other different. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
but for some reason, it just felt like we had so much more of their perspective than we did in the movie.
Yeah. There was one other big difference that I almost forgot about. And that scene where in the movie, Kate McAllister, the mom, she's trying to like, plead with this older couple at the airport saying, "Hey, I'll give you
Mhm.
a ring, $500 earrings, if you just first class tickets, if you just let me trade." And that ended so differently, and it ended in a much darker way than I thought it would. In the film, they're like, "Oh, all right, we'll do it." And and even after she pleads with them, like in this book, like the old man's just like, oop, sorry, my hearing aid's going out. I can't hear you.
Yeah,
Bye." And I'm just like,
yeah,
oh my
he's out.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah, cruel. And it took me a second to realize that was the same couple. Like when I was reading, I was like, "Is this a different time?" Because I don't remember that guy being so rude. Because I thought he was like, "Oh, we're sorry," type of a thing. But we got Axel. We learned that Buzz is obsessed with Guns N' Roses, and the tarantula's name is Axel. And the way
Nice.
that the tarantula gets out of its cage is different than what we see in the film. In the film, Kevin is climbing the bookcase to what was it? He saw money he was trying to get to in
Hmm.
the movie, but in the book, he's climbing the top to get a BB gun because the BB gun is on the top, and when he crashes down, he finds some money in a canister, but then a book falls on the tarantula's cage, and that's how he gets out.
Hmm.
So it's not like the whole like, oh, the whole collapsing thing is what gets him out. Um, and he finds the BBs underneath his bed, Buzz's bed or something like that. Um, I just that scene seemed mixed up to me, a little bit different than what we had in the film. Um, but then we've got target practice going on as well with the BB gun. They
Hmm.
elaborate on that a little bit more. Um, he's not allowed to have a gun in the house, but somehow Buzz has one. So I thought that was kind of funny too.
Yeah, there's also the we get a little bit more insight, and not in 100% officially, but we kind of get an insight like what Kevin's dad does for a living. Like I mentioned earlier, there was like funny fan theories. Like there was a theory going around that Peter McAllister is actually a mobster.
What?
Yeah, he's actually a mobster, and which is why he has all this money and everything, and that's why he kind of, when he thought Harry was a police officer, he kind of gave him like the cold shoulder and everything like that. Because I remember like Harry, he was defensive about it in the film, like he was just
Mhm.
like, "Am I under arrest or something?" And then whenever Kate McAllister, whenever I'm sorry, whenever he said like he's like, "I'd like to have a word with you, sir." He's just like, "Yeah, my wife will be down, man. You can talk to her," and just leaves. I was like, so I know that's not exactly true. They actually did elaborate though, saying that he was like a businessman.
Yeah. Kate, she's a clothing designer.
Hmm.
I don't think that mentioned in the film?
No, it wasn't.
I thought that was interesting. Um,
And yeah, I did like all of the added things, and um, old man Marley, I think, talked to Kevin a lot more than he did in the film.
mhm.
Like he talked to him, if I remember correctly, he talked to him a couple of times before they had that meeting at the church, or whenever he was at the church and everything.
Yeah. 'Cause he tried to talk to him in the store when he had the toothbrush, right?
Yeah,
He was like he waved at him and then tried to tell him about his hand, which
I
was
did
bandaged
like.
up.
It did also kind of imply why Kevin didn't call the police in the first place when he found out the wet bandits were coming, because he was afraid he would get arrested
He
for
thought the
stealing the
cops were looking
toothbrush.
he thought the cops were still looking for him. I love it because they brought that up, like, 2 or 3 times throughout the story after that point. He's like, "I need to call 911. Oh, wait, no, the cops are looking for me. I gotta do this myself." I thought that was really funny. And, like, at the beginning, whenever Kate was telling Harry that they were leaving when he was disguised as a police officer, he's like she said, "We're leaving for Paris. We're gonna be gone." Gave all the information out. So, when Harry gets back to the car to Marv, Marv is freezing in the van. He had it shut off, and he's just, like, shivering, and he's like, "What? Why isn't the van on?" He's like, "Because carbon monoxide. I don't wanna die." And it was just like, "Ha Marv, you're an idiot."
It's you love him, but you kind of hate him.
Yeah, yeah, his options, he said, were like, "Oh, carbon monoxide poisoning or freeze to death." It's like, so you decided to freeze to death.
Oh my
It's just goofy.
gosh.
Just give some goofy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was the quote that you were talking about. I wrote down the page numbers because I thought it might be fun to read it here in a minute. Uh, yeah, you want me to read it real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
It's just Marv says it's almost too easy. Harry asks, "Remember the good old days? Everybody stayed at home for the holidays. Now it's off to Hawaii, Aspen, Paris." Marv said, "Whatever happened to sitting around the fireplace with your family, roasting chestnuts and singing Christmas carols? People have become cynical," Harry said, shaking his head. "Everyone's too jaded. It's just another sign of the moral decay of contemporary society." "Yeah," Marv said. "So which house do you want to rob first?"
Yeah, I remember.
It's just a sign of
This was.
moral decay.
We got someone in the comments. Small Time Republic says Home Alone. Yep, we are.
That's right.
Thanks for joining us. And I like your little emoji there with the the Kevin McAllister emoji right there. But yeah, kind of like you, I was surprised with it. It was a, despite being, like I said, a young reader book, it was good. I keep bumping my mic here. Sorry. It was really
It's fine,
good,
I probably have.
and I was just surprised with it. And it wasn't a very long read. I read this in about an hour. Like,
Pretty quick.
yeah, it's just like I mean, I read a few chapters before, but this, like, the other day I was off work and was like, yeah, I'm just gonna finish this. So just sat down and I read it within like an hour, hour and a half, somewhere right there. And I'm just like, that was actually not a bad book to read. And it
Yeah.
was I was surprised by it. And it does have a sequel. And like, I'm gonna briefly mention this. Like, I did find the Home Alone 2 Lost in New York novelization, but I'm just kind of pointing this out for fun, like a little fun Christmas fact. There's actually 2 prints of this, and Matthew has one, and I have this
Mm-hmm.
one. And apparently, mine is more fuller than his. I guess it's like an
Yeah.
actual novel, and his is kind of like the same print and size as the this one.
I don't have it up here with me right now, but yeah, it's the same size as this one. It's different. It's just slightly altered cover. I don't see the chat stuff on my side anymore for some reason. But something with Buzz that I thought was funny when they were in Paris, the family.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's talking about how I feel so bad that Kevin's at home by himself. He's home alone. Poor Kevin. Buzz, he's like, I'm going to list off 3 reasons why I'm not concerned. And he says A, 2,
Yeah.
and D. Like when he's naming things off, it's like, oh, Buzz. He just does it.
And then, like, whenever his I think it was his cousin, the oldest one, Heather, was counting off people, they were like, in the movie, like, I like the comedic timing, or the, like, how that scene flows. It was just like, I was just like, 1, 2, 3, and then he just chimes and goes 11, 92, 12. And he's like, don't be a moron.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny.
Like,
What about the humor? Do you think this I know we've talked about the one scene, that moral decay thing, but do you think that the book was as funny as the film?
no, I mean, it was a good read, but I just, like, I still kind of prefer the movie.
Right. Because I mean, some of the stuff was dumbed down slightly for the younger crowd to read.
We got a comment. It turns out Buzz is a jerk in real life too. He was in the news as of late. Really? I knew that he was in the actor was in that new Disney Plus remake of Home Alone, and I know that he was actually going to be here in Oklahoma at a Christmas pop culture Christmas con, and we were kind of tempted to go over to see him, but we didn't get a chance to.
Yeah, getting buzzed with Buzz. I think
Oh yeah. Just like,
yeah.
like what was it, like a drinking game with Buzz or something?
Yeah. That's odd. I love my favorite thing about Home Alone is it's a comfort thing. I've even found, like, reading the book, I was like, this is like a nice comfort story. It's funny. It's
nothing like seeing 2 home invaders getting their butts handed to them. That'll just make you really say, God bless us, everyone.
Yeah. See, what else was there that was a big difference? Oh, the Gus from the polka band.
Mm-hmm.
They have a station wagon. In the film, wasn't it a U-Haul? Something like a U-Haul or something?
Yeah, it was like it was enough to where they could it was enough to where they can rehearse, like the whole band could rehearse in the background. And there was one scene that was cut, if I remember correctly. They didn't have that scene where Gus was like saying, like, oh yeah, like, like we're not the greatest parents either. Like, you remember that scene that I'm talking about? Like, he's like, oh yeah, that person over there, he's never even met his kid, and just like he forgets that person there.
Okay, yeah.
I don't remember that being
sounds
in the book.
familiar. No, it wasn't. It was skimmed over pretty quick. They were, like, on their way to a concert, to play at some show or a wedding or something, and then they're like, "Oh, Chicago's on the way, and it'll be a tight fit because everybody's got these instruments." And she's like, strap me to the roof. I'm like, all right, so let's go.
We got someone joining us. We got Joe's Media Cabinet. Yo, dudes. Merry Christmas, buds. Well, Merry Christmas to you too, buddy. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. It's a shame I can't see the comments. I don't know where they're at.
Yeah, I got your back, man.
All right.
Yeah, I know I keep listing off these theories, but there's also this theory. I watched a video about it recently about all the funny theories when it comes to Home Alone. I thought it'd be kind of cool for. Apparently, there's a theory that Gus is the devil because when Kate was talking to that customs or that just what do you call it at the airport? The person
guy.
the ticket guy. Yeah, there we go. When she was talking to him, she's like, "If I have to sell everything at home, if I have to sell my soul to the devil,
that's when he comes up."
Yeah, that's when he comes up like immediately after. Now I know in the film he was eavesdropping and he heard the conversation, but it was just kind of a fun. A lot of people thought that was kind of fun that he just like appeared immediately, like right as soon as she said, like, "Yeah, if I had to sell my soul to the devil, I will get home to my son," and that's when he pops up.
I like that theory. That's interesting because he even says like we have the last car in Detroit.
Yeah, we got LOL the devil. Yeah, there was a video on YouTube where they did a theory where Gus was apparently the devil. I guess the devil liked polka music and not fiddle music, but
But whenever Kate realizes that Kevin was home by himself, she like had this feeling. She's like, I need to go check on all the kids, and then she couldn't find Kevin, and walked back to the bathroom area, was knocking on doors, and then she's like, "Stop the plane!"
Yeah, that was a lot different too. I remember that. That was she was just like, I'm forgetting something, and I'm like, what could it be? And like a couple of pages or chapters goes by until she finally realizes, wait a minute,
it's one of the kids.
I kind of liked I kind of like that version of the film better, where she's just like, Kevin, I mean, of course, like Catherine O'Hara's performance was iconic, and yeah, it was different, but like I said, this is like a book that I would recommend if you want to find like differences, because like we pointed out a minute ago, like there are quite a bit of differences. Like there's like certain characters doing this in the film, when in the movie it was actually this character, or like people just like I said, like that elderly couple, they're just complete jerks, but in the movie they were more sympathetic. And like I said, for a kid's novelization, it kind of got a little deep and pretty dark, and that's normally stuff that you would find in an adult novelization. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, like the whole scene where he goes to the store with when he walks out with the toothbrush, a lot of that whole scene is altered. Because in the movie she points at Kevin when he's running out, and some young kid that works at the store like looks over and then chases him out, and then points at a police officer who's writing somebody a ticket. So the cop starts to chase him, and then that kind of is extended out some. But in the book, the old lady chases him out and sees a cop car and is like, "Hey, he's a thief!" And then the cop gets out of his car and chases after him. And that's when Kevin's like, "Oh, the cops are after me." Gets paranoid. The other scene that was altered a little bit was not much, but there's when Marv walks up to the door and the BB gun comes through the doggy door and he shoots him in the crotch. Well, in the book, it's his knee.
His knee, yeah.
So, which I can understand them changing that up for a kid's book. But I thought it was funny. I like how it shows like, oh yeah, he can hear them coming. So he's like got a lamp on in the background. So he puts the BB gun over his shoulder to look bigger earlier on in the book to keep the guys from breaking in. But it does show some of his thought process on how he's got to defend his house.
I still, to this day, like watching that scene in the film, my favorite is just when Marv is just lying down on the snow going, "The little jerk is armed." But funny enough, I know this is the last time I'll do this, but there is a couple of YouTube videos where if you say if for all of our listeners, like I recommend checking it out. It's like doctors diagnose the Home Alone injuries, and like for each time, like say the BB gun scene or like the paint can scene, like doctors are like actually explaining what would actually happen to them in real life, and it's interesting. It gets like but like so that's the last time I'll mention like something like that. But yeah, they, like you said, like they had to censor quite a bit of stuff. Obviously, it's a kid's book, like in the movie, when after they got banged up with the paint cans, Harry, is like, if you hit me with one more can, I'm gonna snap off your cojones and burn them in motor oil. And in the novel, he just says like, I'm gonna burn you in oil or something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember. It was Marv. It was like, I'm gonna turn you into a hamburger, and that freaks Kevin out. He's like, I don't want to be a hamburger.
Yeah, the whole tarantula scene was a little different too.
Yeah.
It kind of like it's like they were kind of like, he puts it on Marv in the movie, but does he still do it in the book? I can't quite remember if he put it on Marv or Harry first. The scene kind of happened a little.
Yeah, I can't remember if the spider, if Axel, they call him, just came up out of nowhere and crawled up on his face, or if Kevin put him on. I can't remember that part, but I know that they got him off pretty quick, but they were still hitting each other, and they had to stop it. Like, wait, who are we fighting here? And then they turn, and it's like they were just hitting each other. I think was it Harry hits Marv in the shin with the
crowbar?
Yeah,
oh, no,
like,
it was
ouch. Or the other way around.
Oh yeah, it was a shin. Like, yeah, it was like in the movie, it was like across his chest here, which would have been very like obviously more intensely painful than what they did. Go ahead.
There was another part that made me laugh. It's like after they started getting when they're trying to break into the house the first time, they're one's at the front door, one's in the back door, and they can't seem to break in, so they meet back around for a minute, or when they finally do get in, I can't remember. I've got COVID. My mind's a mess. Anyway, when they finally get in the house, Harry is like, "Where are you twerp?" And Marv says, "I'm here, Harry." It's like,
he's like, not you,
the kid. Like, what? I just thought that was funny. Where are you twerp? I'm here, Harry.
We got another comment from Small Time Republic. Says that's interesting because John Candy appears as the devil in a scene in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles when Steve Martin hallucinates it. Weirdly enough, I actually haven't seen that film yet, but that's pretty cool coincidence.
You have to see Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
I would like to. I just haven't had the opportunity yet, so I'll have to probably just do that.
Yeah, it's Thanksgiving movie, so next Thanksgiving you'll want to watch that. It's funny.
Yeah, he also just said, like, I just now realized Matthew is Daniel Stern and Adam is Joe Pesci. Yeah. Yeah, like at the end, like if you came in a little late at the end of this live stream when it uploads, just go and just we did a little funny skit at the beginning.
Little intro.
Yeah, little intro. So after this uploads, just go check that out. It was kind of funny.
Yeah.
So this, like, even though like we were surprised with it, like, I noticed, like, I was wanting to make a comment, like some novelizations, like you can only find them in a young readers. Like I know, like the new reboot to the Ninja Turtles, that's only in a junior novelization. I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a junior novelization, if I'm not mistaken. Like there's several, like The Sixth Sense. I remember that. I think The Sixth Sense is a young reader novelization. Surprisingly.
Yeah.
That's not a book that I would consider to have be a junior novelization.
What kid would want to read that? I see dead people.
I almost bought that at the store, but the owner actually said, I'm actually going to take that because there's mold growing on it. I'm just like, well, thanks. So bummer. I'll have to go and find another copy. But so Would you recommend this book over the film?
No,
Me neither.
I'd say the movie is a Christmas classic.
Yeah.
It's in my tradition to watch it every year, and I'm going to continue to do that. I mean, am I going to throw the book out and be like, "Oh, it was no good"? No, this was fun. I'll have, like, my kids can read it and be like, "Hey, now you could read the novelization." This could be a good introduction next year for my oldest into the world of novelizations. But if you're a huge hardcore fan of Home Alone and you want another little perspective of different media type and just to find out little differences and uh, do that sort of thing, then yeah, I would recommend that you pick it up and read it. But I don't think it's going to replace anybody's thoughts on the film.
Yeah, me too. And honestly, some of those changes that they did, like the scene with Kevin playing that mobster movie, the trick Harry in the book,
Mhm.
I thought it worked better with Marv in the film.
Yes. Yeah, because
I don't know
he's more
why
of a
I don't know why they changed it, and I don't really see how it benefited the scene changing it. I don't know. Maybe my guess is that I was wondering if my only guess would be is that maybe the earlier version of the script it was switched, or maybe the author thought it'd be funnier if it was switched. I don't know, but I honestly think it would have been better. It's better. It's best the way it is in the film.
Mhm.
So like I said, the book I recommend, like I said, if you want to find those differences, it's not a bad book. It's not a bad book. It's a very easy read. I think if you pick this up, you'll enjoy it. It's actually not that expensive online. You got both of yours for less than $10, right?
Yeah, and it came with Home Alone 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, Home
So it's
Alone.
like a nice little bundle.
Home Alone 3, I remember, was one of my childhood films. It had pretty fun traps and everything, but it's just not the same without,
Not the
you
same.
know, yeah, but they've tried, like I said, they tried to have several sequels to the Home Alone, and I don't know, it's just Home Alone and Home Alone 2 are,
Canon.
yeah, legit, and they are they're necessities when it comes to the holidays. Home Alone 3 is fun. I think you'd
Never
enjoy it,
saw
but
it.
yeah, it's fun if you're just it's different, but
Okay.
yeah, it's like Home Alone and Home Alone 2, definitely, check that out.
Yeah. See,
Um,
I think I could be wrong. In the book, he is 7 years old. In the film, isn't he older? Like 8?
yeah, he says he's 8. He's to that grocery store clerk. He's like,
Okay.
"Ma'am, I'm 8 years old. Would I be here alone? I don't think so."
That's okay. Yeah. Yeah. Which is funny in the book that he's 7. It's like I have a 7-year-old and I can't imagine him doing anything like this. But with the novelization, I'll say this one thing again about the whole exciting part about Home Alone that everybody loves those gags where he's beating the crap out of the robbers, right?
hmm
In the film, it seems like it's exaggerated. It's going on forever. This is fun. I'm enjoying every minute of this. It's a big gap of time. In the book, it's like 5 pages, maybe,
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
over. It's like I said, everything else is kind of elaborated in a detail all the way up to that point. So maybe it's just to give kids let's not tell kids how to set booby traps. Maybe. I don't know.
One more thing I did remember, there was a lot more fears that Kevin had to overcome in this. Obviously, the burglars in the movie, it was the basement, and
That's
also
not
old man.
mentioned at all.
Yeah,
Basement's not mentioned at all. I mean, he goes into the basement, but there's no mention of that fear of the furnace
yeah, looking like
turning
that
on or anything.
monstrous type thing.
Mhm.
And I think they replaced that with I remember he actually talks to the police at the end, he's talking to the police after Harry and Marv get arrested.
Mhm.
Because I think old man Marley sits down with him and
Yeah.
sits down with him and says "Hey, you want some hot cocoa or something like that?" And Says
Yeah.
like, no, I gotta go home and clean up. But I remember, do you remember that? Like he was talking to the police for a little bit.
And I think he says something. No, I don't know. I know that the cops. See, now I'm getting lost. I know that Marley's like, hey, you want to come have some hot chocolate or something, and or do something, and Kevin's
Yeah,
like, no, I need to go home and clean, and he's like, clean up on Christmas Eve.
I actually found the it says a little while later, Kevin and old man Marley stood in the driveway and watched the cops put the crooks in the back of their patrol car. Those guys have been hanging around the neighborhood for a couple of days, Kevin told one of the policemen. You might want to check any of the houses around here have been robbed. And oh yeah, it even says like how'd they get so banged up? The cop asked Kevin, and Kevin just says, must be really clumsy.
Yep.
So it was kind of cool that they showed that he overcame like his fear, like, and he actually didn't get arrested as he was afraid that he would do. So, like,
I thought it would have been funny if they did bring up the toothbrush gag one more time. Where he's like goes up and hands the cop money or something like this is for the toothbrush. Oh, that would have been kind of funny.
Just the cop like, I
to
can't
wrap
accept bribes.
just to
Kevin
wrap it up.
bribes the police. Yeah.
Now he's under arrest. I thought it would have been a funny like, oh wait, since you've been doing this joke the whole time that wasn't in the film, it'd been funny if they would have tied it together at the end, but they didn't.
Yeah. So what would you rate this?
I would give this. This is tough because this is the first young reader novelization. And I don't know if they're all pretty much like this in a straightforward kind of way. I'm going to give it a B plus because it was fun. It was Home Alone. Just had it doesn't get the A plus because it doesn't have all the really fun details that we saw in the film with the break in.
I was gonna say just a regular B, but
Okay.
you make a good point. It's still Home Alone, and it's still like a good story, good easy read. So I'll reward it for that. So, but like I said, the changes they made that I didn't feel like were necessary. I'm just gonna say B plus 2.
Yeah. I do have one question about the end of the movie.
Okay.
In the book, we have old man Marley like hugging his son and then granddaughter, and they look at each other, him and Kevin, and they wave at each other, and then it's over. In the movie, doesn't that scene happen? And then Buzz is like, Kevin,
Because what did you do to my room? And he's just like,
yeah, and then it's over. I thought I knew something was off at the end, and I was like, wait, didn't Buzz get onto him again?
Yeah, and I remember in Home Alone 2, like they continued with that gag. Like he actually spent close to $1,000 on room service, and then you just hear his dad going, "Kevin."
Yeah. It was good. It was a fun book. I'm glad we did this.
Yeah, I am too. We actually have plans. I mean, like I said, they're just like it was a thought, like nothing official yet, but to read Home Alone 2 next year. But the difference is, like I said, this is just kind of a plan and nothing's official yet. But the thought was that I would read one version of the novelization and Matthew read the other and compare and contrast them.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Good.
So, like I said, nothing's official yet. So, like, if it doesn't happen, don't they'll be like, "Hey, you said." Like,
yeah, and next year there's gonna be some a big video, maybe another live stream coming at you in January, where the three of us, Jeremy, Adam, and myself, are gonna talk about some changes for 2022. It'll be a fun conversation. Hopefully we'll advertise a good date for it to get everybody on here and have a good Q&A session as well for that live stream.
And another live stream coming in January. The one I announced a few weeks ago. I recently hit over 200 novelizations, and I thought it'd be a good way to start the new year with I'll be doing a live stream. I'm not sure if the other two will be joining me. It might just be me. But of me going through all of my novelizations and showing them to you guys. So that might be a like hour to 2 hour live stream. So hope you guys don't get bored.
Yep. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome. But I think that's gonna do it. Is that gonna do it for this the holiday special?
I think that does it.
All right.
So yeah, guys, go watch Home Alone. Go find the novelization. Enjoy it. And thank you guys so much for joining us. We hope, like I said, that you're having a good Christmas season, holiday season.
Yeah, I mean
And
we had a good year, didn't we, Adam?
yeah, it was a good year.
We had a
Had
good
good.
year.
I mean, some fun announcements is that one of our episodes reached over 5K views,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
insane. And
Didn't see
so
that
thank you
coming.
guys for all that. By the way, I couldn't have done it without you guys. Thank you. We recently, both our Facebook page and our YouTube channel exceeded 100 subscribers. So again, thanks to you guys.
Yep. Thank you.
And we introduced single cuts where we do it's audio exclusive on our that you can find on our
Podcast.
Spotify podcast sites.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I mean, the channel's growing, and we're excited for all the opportunities for it to grow more. So again, guys, thank you all so much, and yeah,
Mhm.
stay tuned for uh, a special live stream that'll be coming soon. We said you just said January, correct?
Yep.
Yep. So and of course we'll be announcing when it'll be and soon. But guys, Matthew, anything else you'd like to add?
Say yeah, thank you and have a Merry Christmas and we'll see you next year. Or
And
you'll
on
see us next year and we'll talk at you next year.
it'll be another year before you see us. But yeah, we'll see you guys in about a week or so, or a couple of weeks. And also, Matthew, feel better, man. And glad to hear that it's not hitting you really hard yet. And Merry Christmas, Small Time Republic, and Joe's Media Cabinet. Merry Christmas to you too, man. Thanks for joining it. Thanks so much for you guys joining us. And as I said, Matthew, feel better, and take care of yourself. And
Yep.
guys, I feel like the best way to conclude this Christmas live stream is to say, go home and enjoy a lovely cheese pizza just for you.
Yeah, you filthy animal.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animal, and a Happy New Year.
And a Happy New Year. I love that. I love that so much.
I wish
See you
that was
guys
real.
later. Me too. Me too. Maybe we need to make it into one.
And we'll write the novelization for it.
Yes, exactly. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
See you on the other side.